It looks amazing and shows the system is working at full power. Hey there, friends! On a hot summer day, you can turn a regular fluorescent lamp into a DIY air conditioner that cools down to an incredible minus 35 degrees Celsius. Instead of throwing away a broken fluorescent lamp, I decided to give it a second life and turn it into something truly useful. Now, if you didn't know, fluorescent lamps are coated inside with a special substance called phosphor. This phosphor glows when hit by ultraviolet light, which is created by mercury vapor inside the tube when electricity flows through it. Pretty amazing, right? All that science packed into a fragile glass tube? Sure, the gas inside my lamp is long gone, but even in this state, it deserves careful handling. Always wear gloves, safety goggles, and a respirator. Safety comes first, even when working with something that seems like just a bit of old junk. We'll get to the compressor, fan, and other components a bit later. To make the condenser, we'll need copper tubing about 4.8 millimeters in diameter. You can usually find these tubes at specialty stores that repair or sell air conditioners, refrigerators, freezers, or heat pumps. The condenser is a crucial part of refrigeration and air conditioning systems. Its main job is to release heat from the hot compressed refrigerant gas, turning it back into a liquid. Imagine this. After the compressor squeezes the gas tightly, it becomes very hot. The condenser cools this gas down by releasing heat into the surrounding air, so the refrigerant turns back into liquid and gets ready for the next cooling cycle. Without the condenser, the system simply won't work efficiently. The heat would stay trapped inside, and you wouldn't get any cooling. Besides the condenser, the air conditioning system also has a very important part, the evaporator. Its job is a bit different. The evaporator absorbs heat from the air inside the room to cool it down. One key difference is that the copper tubing for the evaporator is usually about half the diameter of the condenser's tubing. This is because the refrigerant evaporates inside the evaporator, cooling the air, which requires a larger surface area for heat exchange and proper pressure inside the tubing. So, if the condenser is like the laundry room where heat gets washed away, the evaporator is the real fridge inside your room. To make the whole system work together, the condenser and the evaporator need to be connected. And that's where the capillary tube comes in. This tiny but mighty tube plays a crucial role. It regulates the pressure of the refrigerant, turning the liquid coming from the condenser into a cold mist, ready to evaporate. Think of it like a little gateway, letting the refrigerant sneak from high pressure to low pressure so the next cooling cycle can begin. Clever, right? To connect the evaporator to the capillary tube, I first had to slightly modify the pipe. I carefully widened its inner diameter using a drill, all to make sure the capillary tube fits tightly and securely inside. This method is simple but quite effective, especially in a home setup. And to be able to fill the air conditioner with refrigerant and properly vacuum it beforehand, we'll need a filling port. And here's the interesting part. Instead of using a specialized fitting, you can easily use a suitable part from a car. For example, A valve stem from a car or bicycle inner tube works perfectly. Sometimes, the best engineering solutions come from thinking outside the box and a bit of good old ingenuity. And what's an air conditioner without a compressor, right? We'll need a high-pressure compressor that runs on 10 to 15 volts. It should be capable of operating in the pressure range of 0.8 to 1.3 bar, which is ideal for keeping the system stable and circulating the refrigerant efficiently. The compressor is the heart of the whole system. It's what keeps the refrigerant moving, creating the pressure difference between the condenser and the evaporator. Now we're connecting the compressor and the fan in parallel. Our air conditioner is going to be a classic on-off type, simple and straightforward. Unlike inverter models, this kind of system doesn't need any extra microchips or electronic components. You just supply power, and the compressor and fan run continuously. No fancy control boards or variable speeds. Of course, if you want more control, you can always add a thermostat to shut the system off when the temperature reaches your set point. But even without it, everything works just fine. Simple, reliable, and sometimes simplicity is genius. Did you know the first air conditioner was invented way back in 1902? It was created by engineer Willis Carrier. And get this, it wasn't designed to cool people down. Its main purpose was to control humidity in factories, to prevent paper and ink from spoiling. Only years later did people start using this technology to make life more comfortable on hot days. Modern air conditioners do way more than just cool the air. They filter dust, regulate humidity, and some models even clean themselves or connect to your smartphone. A critical stage in assembling this system is ensuring complete airtightness of all connections. For this, I use specialized flux and solder with a melting point around 500 degrees Celsius, materials that provide a reliable and durable metal bond. I pay close attention to the quality control of the solder joints, as even the slightest leak can compromise system efficiency or cause failure. Therefore, precision and meticulousness during this process are the foundation for the successful and stable operation of the air conditioner. We're almost at the finish line. With the vacuum generator and compressor set up, it's time for one final, but very important step: vacuuming the system. This process removes all the air and any remaining moisture inside the system, which could interfere with the refrigerant's performance. Plus, creating a vacuum allows us to add more refrigerant into the system, improving both efficiency and reliability. So yeah, vacuuming is absolutely essential. Think of it like taking a deep breath before getting to work. Clean, dry, and ready to run. Calculating the exact amount of refrigerant needed for a DIY system like this is pretty tricky. So I took a practical approach. I filled the system with as much refrigerant as it could handle, then started carefully testing its performance. If the system overheated, behaved unpredictably, or showed signs of instability, I would slowly release a bit of refrigerant and run the test again. Step by step, I found the perfect balance, the point where everything ran smoothly and efficiently. It's kind of like tuning a musical instrument. A little more, a little less. And suddenly, you've got that perfect chill performance. Despite the massive effort and nearly 2 weeks of non-stop work, full of trials, errors, tweaks, and experiments, we finally managed to create something truly incredible. This isn't just a homemade air conditioner. It's the result of patience, creativity, and a real passion for building things from scratch. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you don't miss the next invention, hit that notification bell. Hey friends, did you know you can turn an ordinary flashlight into a real portable air conditioner? Yep, no joke. The tubes inside get so cold that actual ice starts to form. We're talking temperatures as low as -30 degrees Celsius. It's not magic, it's pure engineering. And today, I'm going to show you how to make this cool gadget right at home. Ready? Let's go. We took a 3mm copper tube and made about 9 coils around a WD-40 can. This spiral is the evaporator of our portable air conditioner. Inside the tube, the refrigerant changes from liquid to gas and takes heat from the air around it. That's how the air cools down, giving us cool air. This flashlight doesn't work anymore, but we're not throwing it away. We're turning it into a real, working air conditioner. Did you know that a portable air conditioner works almost like a refrigerator? Inside, the refrigerant constantly moves through a closed loop. First, it evaporates, absorbing heat from the air. Then it turns back into liquid and releases that heat outside. This whole process is made possible by the compressor, evaporator, and condenser. Basically, an air conditioner is a smart machine that moves heat from one place to another. Heat fan in our DIY flashlight air conditioner is used to push air through the cooling coil. It pulls in warm air from outside and blows it over the evaporator, where the air cools down, then comes out nice and cold. Without the fan, the cold air would just stay trapped inside the case. No air conditioner can work without a compressor. It's the key part that keeps the refrigerant moving through the system. But I'll talk more about that a bit later. We're making another neat spiral from a thin capillary tube. This tiny tube plays a very important role. It acts as a throttling device. The capillary tube creates resistance in the refrigerant flow. When the refrigerant passes through it, the pressure drops sharply, causing the liquid to evaporate quickly and turn into cold gas. This is where the real cooling begins. Without the capillary tube, the whole system wouldn't work efficiently. In addition to the basic elements of the air conditioner design, it's also important to consider the static direction of airflow. That's why we shorten the top part of the flashlight case and carefully bend the capillary tube, making sure everything fits perfectly. We also make a few small adjustments to the body to ensure it fits all the components just right. This precise alignment not only improves cooling, but also makes the build more compact and reliable, just like real engineers do it. Take note, we're making the condenser using a 4.5mm diameter tube. Now here's the cool part. Why do we even need a condenser in an air conditioning system? The condenser is the part where the refrigerant, heated up after being compressed, turns back into a liquid by releasing heat to the outside. It's where the hot vapor gets cooled and loses its extra energy. Without the condenser, the whole cycle wouldn't be able to close. Fun fact, if an air conditioner didn't have a condenser, instead of cooling air, it would just keep circulating hot vapor. This is a special valve fitting used for charging air conditioning systems. You'll find it in refrigerators, split AC units, and even car air conditioners. Its design is very similar to a regular car or bike valve. It has a built-in core, called a Schrader valve, that opens when connected. So, if you don't have the exact part, you can easily use a standard tire valve from a car or bicycle. They're fully compatible and serve the same purpose. Fun fact, this is one of those clever engineering solutions where a small, simple part gives you full access to charge an entire cooling system. We're almost done building our mini air conditioning system. One of the final and most crucial steps is connecting the compressor, evaporator, condenser, and capillary tube. For this, I'm using a high-temperature solder that melts at around 500 degrees Celsius. Regular tin solder simply wouldn't handle the pressure or heat involved. These joints need to be extremely strong and airtight, capable of withstanding both the high refrigerant pressure and the constant temperature changes. To ensure solid connections, I use a special flux. It cleans the metal surfaces and helps the solder flow deeply into the joint, creating a durable metal bond. Professional refrigeration systems often use silver-based solder for this very reason. It guarantees leak-proof seals even under the most extreme operating conditions. After soldering, I applied a special solution using a regular blue marker. It forms a thin protective film that prevents the copper from oxidizing and keeps the solder joints clean and shiny for a long time. It's a simple and convenient way to protect your soldered areas from moisture and air. Using a marker for this is a great hack. Quick, precise, and mess-free. Fun fact, this kind of protective coating is often used in industrial electronics, where long-term reliability is key. The final and probably most important step is properly charging the air conditioner. But before that, we must vacuum the system. What's vacuuming? It's the process of removing all the air and moisture from inside the system. We literally suck out everything, creating a true vacuum. Only after that can we charge the system with refrigerant correctly. Why is this important? Air inside the system reduces cooling efficiency, interferes with the refrigerant flow, and can even damage the compressor. Plus, any remaining moisture can freeze and block the capillary tube. Fun fact, the deeper the vacuum, the more refrigerant you can fill under the same pressure, which means better performance, even in a tiny DIY air conditioner like this. So remember, no vacuum, no cooling. After the first refill, the compressor starts with short pulsing jolts, slowly pushing refrigerant through the system. Don't worry, that's normal. The compressor needs some time to ramp up to full operation. After about 5 minutes, the pulses become more frequent, and by the 15-minute mark, the compressor gains steady speed. That's when the real magic begins. The refrigerant starts circulating under high pressure, transitions into a liquid state, and the system begins cooling efficiently. This entire warm-up phase takes about 15 to 20 minutes, but it's worth the wait. Because of the temperature difference, especially with outdoor heat around plus 30 degrees Celsius, the evaporator first starts sweating, like a cold soda can on a hot day. Then, that moisture quickly freezes, forming a frosty white layer of ice with a chilling temperature of minus 20 to minus 30 degrees Celsius. It looks amazing and shows the system is working at full power. I spent weeks working on this project, so if you liked it, subscribe and hit the bell. And if you leave a like, it'll really make my day.